Howdy. I was screenshotting and Google Lensening. That's the original screenshot. Sammuvat sähköt ensi talvena. Tämä on pahin skenaario. Google Lens, Finnish to English. Will the electricity go out next winter? This is the worst case scenario. Save energy. That's very recent. In addition to private consumers, companies are also expected to save electricity. At the same time as the Astetta Alemmas electricity saving campaign means degrees lower, saving campaign is being launched in Finland. The authorities are preparing new practices in case there really is a shortage of electricity. The worst scenario of all is a severe frost and a windless high-pressure ridge that remains tenaciously in the north and Finland has not received. What? We have to go to the next one. What a sentence. The worst scenario of all is a severe frost and a windless high-pressure ridge that persists in the north. And Finland has not received an Olkiluoto 3 unit for commercial use, which is the nuclear power plant built by the French. It's more than 10 years late. It should have been ready more than 10 years ago. It's still not ready. A high pressure ridge that persists. Says Pia Ösch, director of the Energy Supply Department of the National Security Agency. Read more. Reduce heating. Only wash full machines. This is how Finns are encouraged to save electricity. The grid company Fingrid estimates that in the coming winter's peak consumption situation, the electricity consumption may rise to around 15,100 megawatts, of which domestic production could at best cover around 12,300 megawatts. In addition, there is an estimated 600 megawatt power reserve in use. Electricity trade with Sweden and Estonia also affects the adequacy. For example, if the bad conditions last long enough and voluntary electricity savings are not enough, Fingrid can, based on the Electricity Market Act, start organizing rotating power outages. Pia Ösch, the director of the Energy Supply Department of the Security Service Center, was on Thursday involved in announcing the National Electricity Saving Campaign. Power outages could last up to 2 hours. Mainly the outages would target households and non-critical objects. In practice, the outages would realize the electricity distribution network companies according to Fingrid's orders. According to Ösch, negotiations are underway with the distribution network companies and their customer service representatives about the way in which customers would be informed about possible power outages. Many distribution network companies have, for example, SMS service that inform about disturbances and outages already now. If, for example, a tree has damaged a power line in a storm. Ösch. This arrangement must be developed with the distribution network companies. Customers are also responsible for ordering the service and putting it into use. So you have to tell them, inform me too. Otherwise they won't tell you. Or what does that mean? However, There are several ways to save and equalize electricity consumption before the recurring power outages. Before the recurring power outages. The recurring power outages. And they do not depend on private consumers. Housing and agriculture account for less than 30% of Finland's electricity consumption. Yeah, there isn't too much agriculture going on in wintertime, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're making a little bit dough or something if there is gas. But anyway, housing, this we had about already. While industry's share is 44% and services and construction's share is 25%, according to last year's data from the energy industry. It is without a doubt important that industry, trade, and services get involved in this. One possible way for companies is to shift electricity consumption away from those times of the day when usage is already at its peak. The market economy can also make companies frugal. I have no idea what this means. Frugal? If the price energy rises very high, then flexibility can come through the fact that companies reduce their operations if production becomes too expensive, says Ush. Yeah, then you stay at home and it's cold at home. What an option. But anyway, on the other hand, some companies also have their own energy production. In some cases, the pulp industry produces district heating, and for example, Metsä Fibre's Äänekoski mill produces electricity for the national grid. So, they support Finland's energy self-sufficiency. The latest means of severe energy shortages threatening would be general regulation. This could apply in addition to electricity, for example, the use of transport fuels, says Ush. In that case, the measures would require the validity of the Emergence Act. Separate regulations would then be enacted, based on which regulations can be made, says Ush. These measures would be so drastic that in order to tackle them, there would have to be a really long-term energy shortage in sight. So back to the beginning. The worst case scenario of all is a severe frost and a windless high pressure ridge that persists in the north. I have been talking about this many times. We are watching at the surface conductivity anomaly, a map I found once because I was watching the weather and somehow there was a pattern emerging and I was learning. I'm still learning. I learn every day. A day without something new learned is a wasted day. You can learn many things in one day. But anyway, I found this map and it correlated very well with the observations I made standing outside and watching the sky and windy. And I have been talking about the Kursk Magnetic Anomaly, which is here. Wow. I'm not good with left hand. But anyway, Kursk Magnetic Anomaly which is here. And on the surface conductivity anomaly we have this. And it is connected through Finland, goes over to Sweden, and finally to Norway. And there's also those negatively charged, I call them just now, and since they are charged in their own way, they will spin accordingly. And this high pressure system region here over the Kursk Magnetic Anomaly seems to be very persistent. And here is a little picture from my recent video. This is supposed to spin like this, and this is supposed to spin like this, so it's channeling the stuff northwards. Obviously, in the radar picture, it's visible. Here is from the news. The worst scenario of all is a severe frost and a windless high-pressure ridge that persists. And there is another one here. This might get very interesting as we go into winter. And it would be very interesting to have more of these maps, but this has been taken down from the internet since I made videos about. Since I found it, I was very excited. And I wrote to those from the EPOS, European Planetary Observation, something. They never answered, but they took the map down. So it's not really available anymore in the internet. So I would expect to get this kind of severe frost and windless high pressure ridge in next winter up here in the north, because Earth's magnetic field is weakening. We are probably between 20 and 25% is our defense shield down compared to what, 70 years or 100, not even this. The poles are shifting, so there is more energy coming in. Soon there will be fall, and as the sun gets lower, the angle is changing of the distributed energy to the surface, and many other things. The sun's activity is just rising and rising, so does the Earth's activity according to the sun's activity. They are interlinked, constantaneously connected with each other. So if the sun erupts more, Earth erupts more too. We had Iceland, then we had La Palma, then we had Tonga, then Iceland again, and there's many other places where just the activity seems to just increase. There's a big rockfall coming in Switzerland probably. Now it seems to have slowed down for a bit. But it won't crawl back up there, so it's on the move downhill. We have totally different jet stream patterns, and the winds are totally different. There's no hurricanes in America, and many other things. And I somehow would expect at one point the extreme weather taking the other way around. Now it has been drought or dry, and it will flip to the other side. And even though, like, the drought is now in the media, no one talks about the floodings. There's like floodings happening all over the place. No one talks about these. Not too much. They are sometimes very local, but still flooding, which is the complete opposite of drought. But it's just not really talked about. But anyway, it's going to be interesting winter. Maybe less videos. Trying keeping ourselves alive and these kind of things. Try to do the same. It's gonna be very interesting. The timest of times. Big cycles. And we are at the beginning of it. If you haven't noticed yet about different times coming. Very interesting being alive. Very interesting. But I leave it here. thank you for watching. Thanks. Bye.